So, hukmi uttam neech is not in our control whether we're high or low. Hukum lik dukh sukh paiye. The comings and goings in your life, that's what Guruji is talking about here. He's not here talking about your emotions. He's talking about the things that we perceive to be sukh and the things that we perceive to be dukh. That's going to keep happening. But within hukum, you can actually overcome those. You can overcome dukh and sukh. Comings and goings in life are going to keep happening. Your response to them is what is being talked about here. Yeah? Every time you have an emotional reaction to something, that is a choice that you make. Anger is a choice that you make. Sadness is a choice. And this is something that's probably the most difficult thing to accept. That your emotions are your own doing. You can choose your response. So something happens in life, and what we do is we immediately respond. Yeah? That's without thinking, without being in control. Somebody says something nice, immediate response is happiness. Something does something bad, immediate response is to be sad, to be affected by it. But there's a mechanism within you that can actually stop and say, how do I want to respond to this? How do I want to respond to this situation in life? You can then choose your response. You can choose your reaction. But that comes with a lot of sahaj. A very calm state of mind that says, no matter what happens in life, the reaction isn't always going to be so impulsive. The response isn't a reaction, it's a choice.
Is Guruji asking us to be permanently happy? Always?
It's asking you to be permanently neutral. Neutral in your response. Happiness is the opposite of sadness. There's no benefit in that. Now there's happiness and then there's contentment. Two very different things. Contentment is what Barney and Guru is talking about, which is this constant, it's okay mentality. And within that contentment there's bliss. That is very different to happiness. Happiness is joy, being excited about things, yeah? Contentment is neutral. Contentment is calm. Contentment is sahaj. That's a different response. That should almost be your default state. Your default state has to be content. That should be the natural state that you're in. So when something happens, it's being met by this contentment. But what's our default state? Uttam neech. How are you feeling today? Oh, I'm feeling great. How are you feeling today? Oh, I'm feeling terrible. And then something else happens. Oh, fantastic. Oh, terrible. It's just you're allowing yourself to feel up and down. Yeah, Barney's talking about this. But Barney's saying this is how we're created. We talked about this last time in the last week's session. Acceptance is something a little bit different. When you accept hukum, what we do, let's look at examples that we see within our own Punjabi community. When things happen that are good in life, we take, some joy and pride in these things. Yeah, fantastic, I've passed my driving test, I'm getting married, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. When something happens that's out of your control, we use words like, chalo, is hukum si, jo vi sanjog vich likhya, right? Whatever is in destiny, we use words like this. Then we say, we put this false layer of acceptance on top of it. So what we're saying is, Chalo, I can't control it, so I will just have to tolerate it. And somehow acceptance and tolerance is what we're kind of talking about sometimes. So there is a negative acceptance, which is that I can't do anything about it, so I'll just tolerate it. I accept it. So by saying I accept, what you're really saying is I don't accept. I don't want this to happen, but I can't do anything about it. So there's a negative way of accepting. And something to be aware of. There's a positive way of accepting that says, okay, this is fine. This is as it is. Yeah, and Barney's talking about that type of acceptance. So we have to be aware of acceptance, yeah? That there's a pitfall, there's a danger in acceptance. This is being neutral that says, I neither accept nor reject. It just is happening. I'm unaffected by it. By accepting it, you're still saying that it impacts me in some way. By saying I'm unaffected by it, it's going to happen anyway. Jo jo tera hukam tive tyon hovana. Whatever you're going to do, that's what's going to happen. So acceptance is a tricky one. If you're saying I'm accepting, in reality you're almost bracing yourself for something bad to happen, and then you're preparing yourself, okay, I will have an acceptance as my response. Neutral is something completely different, which is whatever you're going to do anyway. I'm unaffected by it. It's a different response. To remain unaffected, just constant calm. Sounds easy, right? So, hukmi uttam neech, high and low. And again, within the same sort of strand, Guruji is talking about dukh and sukh. Yeah? Hukum lik dukh sukh paya. So this is what he means, that your dukh and sukh is written. That which you perceive to be happy and that which you perceive to be sad, those circumstances, they're just going to happen. These are constantly being written. Don't get this confused with something that says this is already pre-written, how many children you're going to have. No, this is the writing of hukum. It's continuously going on. Yeah? This is a continuous writing. The universe right now is writing as it's going on. It's a story that's being written, not a story that's been written.